today's tutorial, we are going to be making one of these adorable fabric crowns. My son's girlfriend's cousin, I know that sounds very southern, um, her baby is turning 1 on Easter, and so she asked me if I could come up with a fabric crown for her little girl to wear at her birthday party. So I thought, well, if I'm going to make one, I might as well make a pattern and share it so that everybody can make one if they want to. And I decided to do 2 different styles. So this one is the princess style, where the front triangle is taller than the rest. They have a ribbon closure in the back, and they are interfaced so that they stand up. And I decided to put little pom-poms on the little tips of this one. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a fat quarter. This is a great scrap buster project. So a fat quarter is enough fabric to make 1, maybe 2 of these if you cut really creatively. And then you're also going to need some sort of stiff interfacing. I'm using Decaville Light because I'm a bag maker and I just have that in my stash. But it's a little pricey and it's sometimes hard to find. So any kind of heavyweight interfacing would work. Do you just want something to make your quilting cotton stand up? You can make this out of just about anything. You could even quilt these if you wanted to, interface it with quilt batting and quilt them, do some quilting lines on it. So you're going to need a fat quarter and some heavy interfacing. You're also going to need some ribbon for the ties, or this style is the Prince crown style where all the little peaks are the same size, so they all go around the same way. And so on this one, I'm going to add some elastic in the back. So I just thought I would make one version that has elastic closure. So you'll need 2 little tiny pieces of elastic. These are like 2 inches long. And then you need 2 little scraps of fabric to cover that elastic, which you will have plenty out of your fat quarter to cut the little pieces for that. So all the measurements and the templates are in the pattern. It'll be linked wherever to find the pattern on my website. So I'm going to go ahead and put together 2 more of these for them because little Rosie has a brother and a sister. So other things you're going to need are, I found these pom-poms on Amazon. It's just a giant thing of felt pom-poms. That's totally optional. You don't have to do those. You're going to need some clips or pins to keep your fabric together. You're going to need an iron. I've already ironed on my interfacing onto these pieces. So you will need an iron. You'll need some sort of marking tool. I love these friction pins. They're heat erasable. So you can mark on your fabric, and then when you iron it, they just go away. And then you're also going to need some sort of point turner, chopstick, pencil that's not super sharp, something to poke out all of these little points. So my husband 3D prints these for me, so I have tons of these laying around. And then you're going to need matching thread and your sewing machine and some scissors. So let's go. Once you have all of your pattern pieces cut out, you're going to iron on your interfacing to one of your pieces. And you will notice that the interfacing is about a 1/2 to 1/4 inch smaller than your pattern pieces for your fabric. That's so that you don't get any of your interfacing in your seams. It makes it way easier to turn and poke out all these points because they're kind of small. So then you're going to take your 2 pieces and you're going to put them, well, let's add our ribbon on first. You're going to put them right sides together, but go ahead and add your ribbon to the ends. So you're just going to center it up on one of the ends, and I'm just going to clip that into place. You can use pins, you can use clips, doesn't really matter. And then this is going to be sandwiched in between the 2 layers of fabric. So you just want to make sure it's not like poking out of the bottom or out of the top, and just put it in there to where you won't sew over that. Then you're going to take your other piece and put it right sides together, or pretty sides together. And then you're going to pin or clip all the way around your piece. Okay, once you have your piece pinned or clipped all the way around, you're going to mark an opening about 3 inches long. And I don't like to do mine right on the bottom in the center here because that's going to be right on the middle of this kid's forehead, and if it doesn't fold just so, or if there's any imperfections when you turn it right side out, I don't like that to be right in the center. So I'm going to mark mine over on this side since this edge will be wrapped around the back of the head. So I'm just going to mark a turning hole, let's say about that big. 3 to 4 inches long on the end. I'll have it marked on the pattern if you need placement for that. And then you're going to sew using this interfacing as a guide. So right along the edge of the interfacing all the way around, back stitching at each one of these marks and leaving this spot open. So we're not going to sew that little spot right there. And that way we can turn it right side out. Make sure that you have your ribbon on the ends, centered on the end, sandwiched in between the two pieces. And you can leave a little overhang on the ribbon if you want to make sure that it gets caught in that seam. And so you're just going to sew around at each one of the corners. You're going to put your needle down, pivot, and then go up the next side, put your needle down, pivot at each one of these points. Okay, we're coming up to a corner, so I'm just going to put my needle down, lift up my presser foot, pivot my fabric, put my presser foot back down, and then start sewing. Make sure that that little piece of ribbon in there, make sure you're not going to catch the other end from the other piece, and make sure it's centered up in there and is going straight across. Mine shifted a little when I took that clip out. Okay, we've sewn all the way around and we got lots of practice doing the needle down pivot method, right? So now we're going to take our scissors and we're going to trim off the corners. So anywhere there's like an outside corner, you're going to clip the corner of the fabric off close to, but not through your stitching because you don't want to make a hole. And anywhere there's an inside corner, you're going to clip right down to that stitching, but don't clip through it. That's going to make it turn more flatter, however you want to say that. So I'm just going to clip off all my little corners and then clip my edges. And then if your seam allowance is a little bit long, like see how it's a little, I didn't cut this very straight. So this seam allowance is a little thick right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim a little bit of that off. That just creates a little bit less bulk inside that seam when you turn it right side out, and that way it lays a little bit flatter. Okay, once you've got that all trimmed, you're going to take it and you're going to turn it right side out through that little opening that we left. Now this is a little tedious, so just take your time and be a little bit gentle. I like to take my thumb and put it on that corner and push the corner out as I turn it. That's why it's important to back stitch at the beginning and the end of your seam. That way, because you're turning all of this through that seam, so you want those stitches on the end of that seam to be nice and strong. So you just keep working it through and turn it right side out. Okay, once you have your crown turned right side out, or mostly right side out, you're going to take something like this. It's got not a super sharp point on it, but it has a point on it, and then you can use it to turn all of your points out and get them all nice and sharp. This takes a little finagling. It's a little fiddly. Sometimes your interfacing will come unstuck, so you got to kind of work that back in there and get it nice and flat. But if you just take your time, you can get all of these little points turned out nice and sharp, and then you're going to take it to your iron and you're going to give it a good press. An iron is like a seamstress's best friend, or a sewist's best friend, because ironing things as you go and ironing your seams. This was a lesson I had to learn because when I was young, I was not very patient and I just wanted to get things done, and I wouldn't iron like every step of the way. But really and truly, if you will iron and press whenever it says to in a pattern, and sometimes more, then your project will just come out so much more cleaner, neater, tighter, a little more well polished, and a little more professional looking. So an iron can be your best friend. All right, let's see if I can get this last corner poked out on here. And then I'm going to go take it over to my iron, give it a good press, and then we're going to top stitch all the way around, and that will close up the hole that we left to turn it right side out. So get all my corners poked out, nice and sharp. And then I'm going to take it to the iron and give it a good press. All right, I've given it a really good press. The bottom of mine is not super straight. I don't know what happened right there. I think I must have cut the interfacing a little bit crooked, but you can use your interfacing kind of as a guide to get it nice and pressed really straight. So now we're going to take it and we're going to top stitch it 1/8 of an inch seam allowance all the way around the whole thing. So you're going to practice pivoting those corners again. So I'm just going to take this, I'm going to start at one of the corners over here, and I have 1/8 of an inch presser foot on my sewing machine, so that makes it top stitching super, super easy. Any little threads that are like poking out, this fabric that I chose kind of frays along the edge, so I've got some little threads that are poking out. Just trim those off or tuck them back in if they're by the little opening. So I'm just going to top stitch all the way around. Now I'm going to add a little bit of zhuzh to this one, so I am going to put the little pom-poms on the top of this one too. You can also take your ribbon, I'm going to even this up, and I'm going to trim the ends of my ribbon, and I'm going to take a lighter, and because this is polyester ribbon, this will work. I'm going to take a lighter and I'm just going to tap the ends of it just to melt the ends of the ribbon, and then that way the ribbon won't fray. So let's just put a little dab of hot glue and add some pom-poms to the ends of these. Okay, so I just took these little pom-poms. I got these off of Amazon in that box, and they were a little glue gun. They were a little wonky, so I just took them in my hands like this, and it kind of fluffed them up. So all I'm doing is putting like a little bit of glue like right along this little point here. Don't use too much because it'll get real gloppy. Put a little on the front, a little on the back. And then I'm taking my pom-pom and I'm just going to kind of pinch it over that hot glue and hold it until it dries. And that seemed to work pretty good on this one. These are on here pretty secure. So I'm going to put these pom-poms on and then we'll be done with this one. Now for the Prince version, or if you don't want to put ties on that version, you're going to take your little scraps that I have cut out and your elastic, and we're going to fold these in half with the right sides together, and we're going to stitch these down, and then we're going to turn these to make tubes that we can insert our elastic into before we put the crown together. Okay, once you have those turned right side out, then you're just going to take your elastic and use a safety pin to run your elastic in the little tube. Be sure not to pull it too hard to where you lose this end down in there. So we're basically going to just take this to the end, and then you may want to clip it or pin it so that it doesn't suck back up in there. So I'm just going to use a little pin to hold that in place. So basically what you're doing is you're making a little fabric covered piece of elastic, and then that way it just looks a little neater. I like putting 2 of them on the back of these because I think it's going to hold it on a little bit straighter when you put the crown on your head, if you're wearing it, or your kid's head if your kid is wearing it, but whichever one. All right, now that we have both of those pieces of elastic covered and pinned, like if you take it and you stretch it, it'll even itself out. This fabric frays a lot too. You're going to take your main piece. Let's see if I can angle you down here. You're going to take your main piece, and I've already ironed on my interfacing onto this piece. We're going to leave one of the ends open on this one because we're going to tuck the elastic up in there, and there's no way to put the elastic in both ends and then turn it right side out. So I'm going to pin my elastic evenly spaced on the ends of one end of this crown, making sure that I don't lose my elastic in there. And then I'm going to start at the other end of the crown, and I'm going to sew it all the way around just like we did the other one. So I'm going to put clips all the way around this, and then I'm going to start at the opposite end, and I'm going to leave this end open. So I'm just going to sew all the way around across that end, and then do my zigzags and leave this end open, and then we're going to turn it right side out. I'm going to clip my corners and clip down into these corners down here, and then I'm going to turn the whole thing right side out, and then I'm going to give it a good press. Okay, little pro tip, don't leave pins in the ends of these. Go ahead and baste over the edge of this, because when I was turning this right side out, I reached in there and grabbed a pin. So baste over the ends of your elastic before you turn it right side out, then that way you won't stab yourself while you're trying to turn it. Let me do that real quick. Okay, another pro tip, don't choose fabric that frays a lot. For some reason, this fat quarter and the fat quarter for those frays like crazy. Okay, so you have the other end of your crown that is not sewn. It's open. That's where we turned it right side out. I went ahead and folded it over about 1/4 of an inch to the inside and gave it a good press. The corner was a little finicky, so I stuck a clip in it while it was cooling so it would hold it. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your crown and you're going to make it into a loop. You're going to insert these into the elastic, making it even across. Give it a clip, and then we're going to top stitch all the way around the whole crown. You may have to do it in 2 steps because it is a loop now, maybe a little fiddly. You'll figure it out. Okay, so I have both of my pieces of elastic clipped into that open end there, and I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to top stitch across there, catching the ends of these clips are determined to be on the floor today. I'm going to make sure that with my top stitching that I'm catching that elastic inside that little seam there. I'm going to back stitch over that also, and then that way it'll give it a little reinforcement across there. I'm going to turn my crown around right side or inside out so that it's not so fiddly. I guess it really doesn't matter. It's the same on both sides. So and then I'm going to continue to top stitch 1/8 of an inch away from the edge all the way around. Once you've top stitched all the way around, now you have a stretchy crown. It's got a little bit of stretch to it, so when you slip it over the kiddo's head, it will fit lots of different sizes. So that is the Prince version. Do you guys think it needs pom-poms on it? I don't think I'm going to do pom-poms on this one. All right, we are done with our little crowns. These are super easy to do. They're super scrappy, scrap buster projects. So this is the princess version with the ribbons that tie in the back. And then this is the little prince version that's got the elastic in the back. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. It was something easy and fun and something really creative. I'm so glad that she gave me this idea to come up with one of these patterns. I know there's a bunch of them out there, but I thought I would do my little spin on it and make a tutorial on it. And I don't have any little bitty kids to try these out on, so I'm so glad that she contacted me so that I could come up with something fun. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, be sure to give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, all the things. Be sure to tag me on social media if you use my pattern to make any of these. My handle is @ByTheBayBagCo, and you can find this pattern on my website, bythebaybagco.com. It's all linked wherever you're watching this video. So hope you guys enjoyed, and let me see what you make.